Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. Now, yesterday I popped back to the movies to go check out Spiral from the Book of Saw because it was only playing in theaters. And unfortunately for me, this one ended up being a mixed bag that kind of ended more on the not so great side. If you want to see all my thoughts on what was not so great, and there's some stuff that worked in there, you want to see all that, you can check that out right up there. But after I got home, I was in the mood for a palate cleanser, and I was so excited because me and my girlfriend had teed up this movie, which stars Angelina Jolie, over on HBO Max, a little day-and-date release action, for a little movie date night. And since I'm not fully vaccinated yet, we haven't gotten back to the, hanging out in her house, so we do these kind of long-distance movie watch-alongs where we queue up the movie together and then text each other throughout the movie, and they end up being a ton of fun. And we had so much fun with this one, and specifically because of Angelina Jolie, we jumped right into Salt right after it, and it ended up being a pretty awesome end to my evening. So what am I talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair, man, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in, spoiler-free, into Those Who Wish Me Dead. And like I said, man, this was a fun one for us, man. We had a good time. And shout-outs have to start with Mr. Taylor Sheridan, who, ironically enough, we just talked about recently because, he was the writer on the new Tom Clancy movie with Michael B. Jordan, Without Remorse, which I kind of felt missed the mark on the script, which was kind of surprising because Sheridan comes from a pretty solid background in that department, specifically Hell or High Water. And I know that he's been writing, I believe, on Yellowstone. I haven't watched that yet, but I've heard great things. And typically, like I said, when Taylor Sheridan pops up, I get kind of excited, or at least tune in, because I tend to dig what he's doing. And while Without Remorse may not have hit the mark, Those Who Wish Me Dead sure did, and all the things that Taylor Sheridan is really good at are on display here. Now, the movie is not perfect, and the one thing I will say is that Sheridan sets up, the A storyline, that is this kid being on the run from these two assassins, and doesn't really give me enough in that department. Like, there was a lot of stuff where I was like, I got questions, man, and just things that you don't see, but outside of that world building that I thought could have been a little bit better, specifically for that A plot line, the rest of the movie is really quite solid, and so much of it rests on the shoulders of Miss Angelina Jolie in that B plot line that eventually intersects and becomes the same plot line in the movie. But I thought Sheridan did a solid job here. This is a movie that grips you, definitely pulls you in from a story standpoint. Like, Angelina Jolie's character Evelyn is going through some stuff, coming out of an unfortunate incident in her career, where she made a bad mistake. We've kind of seen that in the trailers, and the call she makes kind of ends up backfiring, no pun intended, and really traumatically affecting her. So you get this real solid emotional story, and just kind of arc for Jolie's character to kind of go from this one place to where she ends up in the movie, and I love that stuff. And then the stuff that he does with the little kid, who is played here by Finn Little, Connor, that storyline I thought was fantastic. And so much of that rests on Finn, and we'll talk about that. But I thought that stuff was really good, and the way it intersects into Jolie's story just really worked. And then everything else that you put around them, I liked. I just would have liked a little bit more information and stuff that was going on as to why all of this happened. They hint at there was something that somebody did that they shouldn't have done or shouldn't have seen that leads to all this stuff, but they don't ever really dive into what that stuff was. And I'm not needing a ton. There's an opportunity for a little closing montage at the end of the movie where you could have cleaned up a lot of that stuff real quickly. But outside that, I thought everything in the script was tight. This is a nice, tight movie. And visually, this thing is gorgeous, and we know Sheridan can do that. And, you mentioned Yellowstone, which is, one of the things that he's worked on. I think he wrote the entire first season of that. Yeah, there were just moments in this because the movie is shot in New Mexico, but takes place, supposed to take place in Montana. And there were just shots where I was like, dude, you can tell, like, he's got that Yellowstone experience heightening all of this stuff. And wherever they went in New Mexico, phenomenal location. I don't know how much stuff was, like, visual effect oriented on some of the beauty shots that weren't fire oriented. There's just, like, some gorgeous landscapes. And there are times where, like, they're inside that tower that Jolie is working in, where you can see like the outside, and it's just gorgeous to look at, man. But the scenics are beautiful, and then when you get into the third act of this movie, where the fire is raging, and they're in the same area as the fire, holy cow, man! Like, I told my girlfriend, Backdraft like scarred me as a kid. When I saw that movie, like, really made fire terrifying. This movie does so even better than that, and really does kind of give you, well, it doesn't give you the full-on like wildness of the fire. I think Backdraft did that the best, specifically because of the concept of a backdraft in a building. When you're talking about like a massive forest fire, holy cow, man, like terrifying stuff, and visually very, very striking. And all of that tees up the beginning of hopefully an Angelina Jolie comeback that I'm so pumped about. She is absolutely fantastic in this movie. She carries all that emotional stuff really, really well, and I like how you see her struggle with that stuff. And then we get to finally see Angelina Jolie, the mom, to a degree. Once she intersects with Connor, like, she is, like, there are just moments where it's like full-on mom, and some of it is that loving, genuine, like, care, and some of it is like that mom, like, hey, I told you to do something, you're gonna do it, now get. And like, both of those moments when they hit, like, I texted my girlfriend as she's texting me, and she's like, yo, you can tell, like, Angelina Jolie's been a mom in this time that she's had off. And that relationship with the kid, Connor, is just so good, man. And it's really the thing that drives the movie. Like, you're watching these two characters that you know are going to end up together build separately, and then when they do come together, I mean, it's just pure gold. And Jolie also crushes in the action. There is some actiony moments. There's a real cool running sequence that I just thought was neat, like, from the way that it works. It's kind of like a leapfrog type maneuver, but like, just watching that visually, that worked. And then when you get into the finale, like the showdown that she's got to have to get to your resolution, both between the assassins and between the fire, she really delivers. There is a phenomenal scene that kind of pits Jolie against somebody, and the only thing in between them is a tree, and they play around that tree for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and it's fantastic, man. Like, you were literally like on edge, like, oh man. And then that's immediately followed by like one of those like, you could have done a little bit better than Taylor Sheridan. Like, the assassins are not very, very smart. Nicholas Hoult gets one moment that's almost like redeemable for them as far as like being semi-intelligent, but most of the decisions those two guys make, not the smartest. But all of that, I just teed up wonderful stuff for Jolie. Like, there's a little bit of action in here that she crushes. I love her as an action, star. And, I mean, like I said, me and my girlfriend went right to Salt after this. Nails the emotional stuff. And the reason that emotional stuff really hits is because of Finn Little, who plays Connor. Holy cow, man, this kid is so freaking good. It's crazy. Like, multiple times during the movie, my girlfriend or me would be like, you imagine being this kid? Like, all the stuff that you've seen, all the stuff that's happened to you, like, how do you hold it together? And there's literally a moment where, like, I made a joke. I was like, our kid just became Batman. And, like, there is something that happens that he witnesses, and you literally see the innocence of this kid disappear in his eyes. Like, 1 minute it's there, and you literally just see it disappear. And in that moment, I was like, he just became Batman. And then, like, mild spoiler, they kind of set up like a minor Two-Face type scenario. I was like, I kept going to my girlfriend, I'm like, I'm telling you, they're building Batman in this movie. Everything can go back to Batman, I swear. But no, Finn Little just crushes, man. Like, he has moments where he is very adult, and he has moments where he finally, like, looks like a kid his age, and acts like a kid his age. And the drama, specifically, for me, one of the coolest moments in the movie has to do with their head-on fight with the fire, and like what they do, like there's just some really cool stuff for him and Jolie both, and they just both crush it. And then the rest of the cast, you get some nice stuff. John Bernthal pops in there. You know me, I love the Punisher, and he's solid. He plays the sheriff in this town, and where he intersects and the things that he does, like it's just a character that's easy to like. Might need a new haircut, but who am I to talk about haircuts? So I definitely liked Bernthal. Like I said, Nicholas Hoult is in this movie, as is Aidan Gillen. Mr. Littlefinger, and oh man, I tell you, man, like the minute he pops on screen, I'm like, oh, Littlefinger, he's just so bad, and everything he does in this movie, you just go, it's such a Littlefinger movie. Like he's so good at playing these types of characters, and I thought performance-wise, Gillen and Hoult both do a really nice job. Hoult in a role that I really haven't seen him, being an antagonist, and like I said, he gets one moment in this movie where he gets to be kind of like the smart guy in a pair of not very smart assassins, and like it worked really well, and I liked their back and forth. I just thought you could have developed those characters a little bit better and given those guys a little bit better material. But I thought both of them performed just fine. And then the biggest shout out, I think, in this movie for both me and my girlfriend, we both said this was our favorite character, as much as we loved Angelina Jolie, Medina Senghor. Holy cow, man. She plays John Bernthal's wife, and they run like this survival school. You go through the stuff that she goes through in the movie, and she's pregnant also, which plays into like her badassery. Sign me up for this school, man. This woman knows how to survive, and she gets maybe the best action sequence in the whole movie, man. Like there is the tension and the execution in this one sequence for her was just awesome, and what they give the character and some of the places that she takes it. There was a very little for her. And she makes the absolute most of it and really delivers, like, standout performance in the movie. And like I said, even despite some of its faults, the assassin stuff I thought could have been better. You could have fleshed out that world a little bit more. But outside of that, man, like, I was here for this, man. Like, this was one of those Taylor Sheridan movies where it's like, this is why we pay attention to this guy, because the movie grips you. It holds your attention. It delivers wonderful visuals. It delivers some cool action and very, very tense moments. And overall, it is just a nice win for Angelina Jolie and everybody that's in this. But specifically Jolie, because it feels like she's building up for some kind of a comeback. And if this is that first step, and then she crushes on the Eternals, I'm very excited. And maybe, just maybe, the world will look down upon us movie fans and go, you know what, we owe you guys a gift. Here's Salt 2. I'm still waiting for it, man. I want another one. She was so damn good in that movie. And we watched the director's cut last night, which has a little bit more of a definitive ending than the theatrical release. But, like, damn it, give me more. I am just pumped. I'm just pumped and psyched if this is the start. Because it was a really strong start for Angelina Jolie and everybody here. So I, along with my girlfriend, were pretty big fans of Those Who Wish Me Dead. If you're in the mood for a cool little action thriller, there's some really, really nice stuff in here. So those are all my non-spoiler thoughts on Those Who Wish Me Dead. Now I want to know what you're thinking. Have you had a chance to take a look at this? Like I said, this is on HBO Max, day and date. So me and my girlfriend, we streamed it. Did you stream it? Did you go out to the theater to see this one? I think this one would have played better than Spiral did in the theater, because some of the visuals, specifically at the end when the fire is raging, really, really nice stuff. So what was working, what wasn't working for you? Did you like it or dislike the movie? What do you think about Angelina Jolie here? Did she impress you? Did she return to form? Did she get you excited at her starting to maybe come back into the world of film? Did you think this was a good stepping stone? What did you think about everybody else in the cast? Good, bad, indifferent on Those Who Wish Me Dead? Go down below in the comments section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the C-Man anytime we're talking movies, TV, trailers, you want to show a little love and support to this old guy because you like what he's doing, well then come join C-Maniac Nation by jumping over there, man, hitting that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts, and until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, I've been the C-Man and I'm signing off. Peace!
Oh,
Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.